Hey, social media writers. This week, we're really beginning to get into the nitty-gritty of content strategy, and we're going to touch on three big themes. What should you be posting? Where should you be posting it? How often should you be posting it? Uh, in all of these areas, consistency is your friend. So you want to be consistent about the types of things that you're posting, and you want to be consistent about how often you're posting. You don't want to post on too wide a range of topics or too many things that don't look like they go together, because that makes you look incoherent. That works against you building trust and consistent interest with your audiences. Likewise, if you're not consistent about how frequently you post, then people don't know what to expect from you. If you post a bunch and then suddenly you disappear for months because you lose the energy for it, that also works against presence and trust, which are two of the most important things you can do in social media. So this week is thinking about how do you come up with all these ideas for content. And the good news is that because consistency is so important, it's really most important that you start out, even if you're not posting as often, but you're doing it at predictable times of the week and doing really high quality things that your audiences are genuinely interested in. That is going to be more important than whether you post every single day or do two posts a day or whatever the industry recommendations are for your particular platform. All right, so the readings and videos are set up to give you ideas about these things. The first reading talks about content pillars, which is one of the best ways to both give you inspiration for your content and also to make sure that you are developing your content around consistent themes. So they recommend that you come up with 3 to 5 themes for your organization to post consistently about, things that you have expertise in and things that your audience is motivated by. These are the structural support for your strategy, as the first blog writer explains. You will have some content pillar overlap between your platforms, but you might choose to emphasize one pillar more than another on your different platforms. And in the blog article, they talk about these content pillars as kind of being centered around 4 major categories. So, brand messaging or storytelling, entertainment posts, things that are humorous and keep people amused, uh, posts that are about promotional, so like deals or sales that you're offering or your products, anything that's going to get people to spend money on you. And then user generated content, which is stuff that your followers create that mentions you, and then you repost their materials. I think those are okay as categories go, but I actually like what Erica in our first video from the agency Edit, when she talks about content pillars, she talks about much more specific categories that are about the topics that you post about more than broad categories. So, for example, when I think about doing posts for Wildwood, if I had to say what our content pillars are, one pillar is nature and the beauty of the outdoors. So, I mean, we're a 105-acre park. Huge numbers of people don't ever come to any of our concerts or our stage shows, but they love walking the trails. They love being out in nature. They love that we have a nature conservation mission. So we need to have at least 20% of our content, if not more, showing off natural beauty around the park. Second would probably be our stage shows. Third would probably be our festivals. Fourth might be come sign your kids up for a class with us. And then fifth would be why you should donate to us. So you can pretty much expect that if you're following Wildwood, you're going to find information on those things. And notice that so only 20%, 1 out of 5 is trying to get people to donate things to us. Can you imagine how boring it would be if every single post was about why we need your donations? I mean, people don't like pledge drives on PBS. So it's really important that the content that you put out there is appealing to the audiences that you're trying to reach, and tone down the sales and promotional stuff so that you only put it out when you really, really need it, so they don't get bored with it and think that you're basically an advertisement all the time. So they suggest that when you're trying to figure out what your content pillars are, if you already have an existing social media platform, then they recommend that first you audit the content that you've been putting out, and kind of notice which ones are getting the most reactions, comments, likes, shares, and then use that to plan your mix. Most heavily emphasize the kinds of stuff that's getting reactions. And then they recommend that you build a calendar for your postings so that you make sure that you hit everything in the rotation. And again, that you're not posting the same type of thing every single day. No matter how awesome your content is, if you're posting the same thing week in, week out, no differences in looks, no differences in content, it's going to get boring quickly, and you want people coming back. Okay, next, our second reading moves on to talk about uh, different kinds of content types and which platforms are best for those types. So interestingly, when you're doing promotional posts and you're trying to get people to buy tickets or come to your festival or buy your product, apparently those kinds of posts are most successful on Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram. And other platforms don't lend themselves to getting people to click and buy nearly as much. The second article also talks about how you can take existing content and tweak it to either cross post. So you're basically posting the same thing across platforms, and all you're doing is changing the format so it works on that platform, or repurposing it entirely. So you take something that might have been a static image and now maybe you turn it into a short form video, or maybe you turn it into an interactive quiz, but you're using the same content in multiple ways. I really like this second piece because, first of all, it tells you what the top 5 content types are for, I think, 6 or 7 different platforms. And that really helps you figure out, all right, if these are going to be my top 3 platforms, and I know that these are the types of content that perform the best there, well, that's where I'm going to focus my time. They also emphasize what you're going to need regardless of platforms. And some of those things include you're going to need high quality images and or video. We will spend much more time in this class talking about how you can develop those kinds of digital assets so that you can use them in your postings. It's where you will spend another huge chunk of time. So chunk 1 is going to be coming up with the ideas for the post. Chunk 2 is going to be sourcing where do you get these great images and videos so that you can use them online. Like the first article, they also mention the importance of being consistent, and they also emphasize the importance of telling stories in your posts and creating emotional engagement. So people want to know, like, get behind the scene glimpses. They want to know why you're doing what you're doing. They want to know what problems you're solving. You need to make sure that you're telling those stories. And then again, they also emphasize that don't just leave your audience hanging. Make sure that if they comment on your posts, you always comment back to them. We will talk a little bit later in the semester about what to do if the feedback that you're getting isn't 100% positive, but hopefully most of the response you're getting is positive. Keep that dialogue going with people and always track the performance so that when you see that people really like a certain kind of content, you know that's your cue to give them even more. Okay, the third reading talks about, all right, how often should you target to post on these various platforms? And so you'll notice that in the article, it's different for every platform. And I want to emphasize to you that no matter what that article says, those are ideals, right? You may or may not be able to actually post that frequently, especially when you're first getting started. It is, again, way more important that you be consistent and that you have high quality, and then the frequency can come. So if you need to, start with like a couple, 3 times a week, gradually work yourself up to the everyday kinds of content, or in some cases, 2 or 3 times a day, which when I look at that, I'm just like, I don't know how we would do that. I mean, like at Wildwood, we don't have enough staff to do that. We feel great if we get a post a day out. Then in the videos, they talk about some themes that we've touched on before, namely that in addition to looking at your content pillars, you can use AI to help you come up with content ideas. And below this video, I'm going to post yet another example from my own usage where I asked ChatGPT to suggest for me some ideas for the upcoming production of High School Musical at Wildwood. We've been posting a series of cast bios, and again, you'll see that we're not doing ideal content over there. Literally every day is just another cast bio. Part of the reason that we do that, though, is because we've got a huge number of junior actors in the show. And we know that when we post their picture in their bio, their friends and family are going to share it. It creates a lot of buzz for the show. But ideally, we would be mixing that with some other types of content. Hang on, I'm going to stop because my dog is barking. Just a sec. Okay, I'm back. So when we left off, I was saying that I'm attaching below this video an example that I used for Wildwood, where we're getting ready to run the musical, High School Musical, and I wanted to suggest some different types of content for me. So you'll see me ask about the types of content, and then one of the things was kind of unique. It suggested creating an interactive quiz. And this is a little bit out of my comfort zone. I haven't created an interactive quiz for Facebook before. So I ask it for more details. And by the time I'm done with it, it has a whole script written up for me for all the quiz questions, all the result slides, and it suggests that I put it in Canva Quizmaker. It seems so feasible that I'll probably actually try and do it. So if you feel like you're stuck in a content rut, like there's only one thing you know how to create, be aware that AI can help you explore some other options. And if you then look at the options and you say, well, but I don't really know how to make that thing, then ask it to help you with that. So this is a way that you can quickly skill up. And that's going to be really important because social media is going to be constantly changing and technology in general is going to be constantly changing. Having AI to help you learn new skills is potentially a very powerful tool in your pocket. Okay, so then the second video that I posted talks about, it ties in perfectly to our second project handout because it talks about getting content ideas by looking for good content models on platforms that you would like to use. So finding people who are doing it well, noticing the different kinds of range of content that they're producing, and then you using that as a way to imitate and inspire your own particular content. And then the final video talks about the 10 essential content types that can be your go-to types of content when, again, you're pushing to get ideas out so that you can schedule your content calendar. And again, we'll be talking much more about like what even is a content calendar, how do you build one, what should it look like, how do you execute it. But for now, I really want you to focus on looking at good content models. So you'll notice that in the Project 2 handout, Project 2 is due October the 7th. It's another 4 to 5 page paper, just like Project 1 was. Your goal is to follow 2 organizations that post on at least 2 different platforms. I don't care what those platforms are. And you need to look at the content they produced for at least a 2-week span of time. Now, if they only post once a week, then 2 weeks is not going to be enough. So you need to get, let's say the range that you're shooting for is 30-ish posts, assuming that they each post, once a week on a couple of different platforms. You want to have enough content that you can reasonably compare it. And the handout asks you to look at the points of strategy. What audiences do you think they're trying to appeal to? What do you think their content pillars are? What are they posting? What are the types of content? How often are they posting? And then I ask you to evaluate, do you think this is successful? What parts of it might you want to imitate? What parts of it might you want to avoid? There's no right or wrong answers to that. It's just literally to kind of help get your imaginative juices going. When you see stuff that you like, be sure that you save it. Take screenshots of things, save links to things, organize this stuff so that you can find it and use it later for your future projects. Okay, as always, if you have any questions, feel free to email me at my UA Little Rock address. You're always welcome to text me or to send me messages on Facebook or email me. Some of you are coming to my evening office hours on Wednesday. Others of you are requesting individual appointments. Remember, those are yours to do whenever you feel like you would benefit from having somebody to bounce your ideas off of. Okay, I hope you have a great week, and I look forward to seeing your second projects in a couple of weeks. Thanks. Good night.